Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Monday Messages. This is the last one for the new year because next week I'm heading off on my trip to Ireland. But I want to say thank you to everybody for I do these messages to hoping that my experience can help other people who are going through what I'm going through. And then last week I was just having a rough one, and so many of you reached out to me and helped me. So thank you for that. This one will be a little more we'll have a little more fun with this one. Not that what the topic we're going to be talking about is going to be fun, but I'm going to start off with this story. So we were one night I was driving home from work, and as I was driving home from work, I used to listen to like these love song requests, coasting. They were like the Coast 107 request or whatever, whoever it was. So the host that night was, she's like, "Hi, who's looks like we have Bob. Bob, where are you coasting from, Bob?" And Bob's like, "Bakersfield." It's like, "Okay, Bob from Bakersfield. Well, what's that special song request you'd like to hear tonight for that special someone?" "Baby, come back." "Oh, and what special message would you like to give that special someone tonight?" "Uh, come back." That, that really happened. And I about swerved over the road, falling over. And I'm like, oh my God. How how hysterical. I mean, it was just so deadpan, but and thinking about it though, it's like, oh, poor Bob from Bakersfield. He was missing somebody. He was having obviously he had a breakup of some sort, and his uh significant other left him, and he was missing him, this or her or whoever at this time of year. I just got back from Asheville where we did Christmas number 1 with my mom and dad, and it was wonderful, and it's one of those things where I'm so grateful that we have all our family right now to celebrate. Now we're going to Ireland next week, and that's not going to be the case. We're going to be missing a very important part of my husband's family, his aunt Phyllis, who died a couple of years ago, and she was always part of our visits there. And I always looked forward to seeing Phyllis. Phyllis was just a character. I loved her so much, and we're gonna miss her so much too. Uh, but she passed during 2019. Actually, yeah, 2019. Oh no, 2020. It was 2020 she passed. Uh, or yeah, 2020 she passed, and we had wanted to get out there last year for Christmas, but because of COVID, we couldn't. This year, we decided we're just going to have to do it, get out there. But there's going to be so many people right now going through their first Christmas, maybe even their second Christmas because of everything going on. Not just with COVID, but with the opioid epidemic, losing people to suicides. I mean, there's a lot of cancer, people losing their pets, whatever. People are going to be mourning the loss of someone, or in case of their pets, something that they loved so much, and each one is equally painful to go through. Well, that's not necessarily true. If you lose like one of your immediate family, it's obviously going to be a lot more painful than losing someone that you knew and liked, but they passed. So obviously you're gonna be missing that special someone. So I remember my first Christmas going through the loss of my friend Amy, who, as I've shared in previous posts, she was tragically murdered. And at this time, um, in 1991, she was missing, and we didn't know where she was. And the agony and the pain and the horrendous, deep, dark place I was at that year. It was horrible, horrible, and I felt like I couldn't cry anymore. I felt like the sadness was going to engulf me, and I didn't know if it would ever get better, but I really wanted that pain to end. I really wanted it to go away. And, during that time, a lot of dark thoughts can go through your mind. And, I talk about this in my keynote, The Slime of My Life, where I talk about losing Amy and the aftermath of everything. And one of the messages I give is when you're trapped in the dark, seek the light. Some people might be feeling like the pain they're going through right now is never, ever, ever going to end. And I promise you it will. It won't be this bad. It gets better in time. And, time takes time though. So you got to really, reach for the light during that time. You don't fix darkness with more darkness. You fix it by seeking the light. And what does seeking the light mean? Well, reaching out to support groups, reaching out to other people to serve other people. Um, spiritual solutions always work. Whatever your higher power is, um, that's always been my best way to overcome the darkness. In fact, I'll share with you the story. During the time that this was going on with Amy, I had walked in and into I had stopped going to church in college because I was in college and I had better things to do. So I started, when I was going through all this stuff with Amy, I decided I had nowhere else to go. So I went into the cathedral in St. Augustine. And I remember walking in just feeling like the worst person in the world. Like I really screwed up. How was I ever going to be, what right did I have to even step foot in this church after everything I had done? And I sat down and I remember just praying, praying, praying. One of those prayers from the bottom of your heart that you feel, God, I screwed up. I don't know where Amy is. My life's a wreck. I don't know what to do. Please, please, how can you ever forgive me? Please, God, help me. Can you ever, ever forgive me? And then all of a sudden, this thought popped in my head is like, you know, I will never forget you. I have carved you in the palm of my hand. And at that moment, from the pulpit, the priest said, as in Isaiah 49, I will never forget you. I have carved you in the palm of my hand. Boom. I was just like blown away. It's one of those, burning bush experiences that I felt like God, higher power, whatever you want to say, directly spoke to me. And I was floored. And this amazing amount of grace just overcame me. And I knew at that moment everything was going to work out. Everything was going to be okay. And I needed to just start seeking the light like I was. I needed to start going back to church, that's where I found my way to my relationship with my higher power. Not everybody has to go to church, however they choose to do it. But at that point, I was that spiritual connection with my higher power was there once again. Uh, and, I slowly but surely, one day at a time, feeling the pain. And, back then I didn't have my sobriety. So all I did was I chose to drink away the pain, which I don't suggest to anybody to do. That's the darkness. And eventually the darkness did lead me to the light of sobriety. But, I drugs and alcohol, suicide, that's darkness. Don't you can't fix this with darkness. It has to go through the light. You have to go through a spiritual solution for me. That's really the only thing that worked. And the only way out is through. So just go through it one day at a time. Just get through the day, just one day at a time, and it gets better. It gets better. It will. Feel the pain. You're going to feel the pain. You got to go through the grieving process. It's just part of how our bodies are designed to work. And eventually, when you go through the grieving process, you get to that place of acceptance. And it doesn't come easy. You fight along the way. You go through your anger, depression, bargaining, denial. They all intertwine and mix until finally you'll get to that place of acceptance. It's just during those anger and depression times that you have to know, hang on, help's on the way. Trust, seek out your higher power of whoever or whatever you call your higher power, seek out. I call mine God, so I always seek out God during my darkest times, and I've never been disappointed. So, if there's one less place sitting at the table this Christmas, I'm so sorry you have to go through this, but you will go through it, and you will get through. And this too shall pass. But in the meantime, there's the meantime. Just make it through the meantime. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. Just get through the day one day at a time. Reach out. Let people love you during your hardest moments. And rely on God. Humbly rely on God or your higher power, whatever you choose to call your higher power. And you will be just fine. So with that, I wish you a wonderful holiday season. I'll see you next year. It's that close. So this is the last edition of the Monday Message for 2021. We'll see what 2022 brings. I got a lot of fun things in store for us. So I look forward to seeing you next year, and have a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever. I will see you next year. Bye.